Today's topic is overcoming emotional eating and binging. So, this today is not just about, it's not about willpower. It's not about just telling ourselves we're not going to do it, right? It's really about bringing some awareness, bringing tools and compassionate strategies to help meet you with your emotional needs in a healthier manner, right?
Hmm.
Um, is it gonna let me click? There we go. So, what is emotional eating and binging? So, emotional eating occurs when we consume a food in response to a negative emotion rather than physical hunger. These episodes typically involve comfort foods that are high in sugar, fat, and calories. Binge eating, on the other hand, involves consuming an unusual amount, large amount of foods quickly, often with a distressing sense of loss of control. Unlike simple overeating, binging is more characterized like eating until uncomfortably full or feeling intense shame afterwards. And anyone who's struggling with emotional eating or binge eating habits, just so you're aware, you are not alone. The stats in America alone show that 2.8 million Americans are suffering with binge eating disorders, making it a very common
Wow.
eating disorder in the States. So there's a lot of awareness about, purging. This is like a huge, huge issue that we don't talk enough about. So
I
why do
agree.
we eat emotionally? So there's a few different factors that can play in. So we got emotional triggers. So if we're stressed, sad, bored, lonely, anxious, that can definitely trigger an episode. Biological factors, so poor emotional regulation skills, high dietary restraints. So if we're really trying to restrict certain foods, genetic predispositions. So depending on our genetics, that can really lead to some of these emotional eating habits or binging, as well as our coping mechanisms. And I think that's going to be a really big one too, that goes into both of those other factors, is that we use it as a form of self-medication. So temporary comfort, distraction, or numbing from difficult emotions or experiences. So we definitely see this when it comes to substance abuse, but food in itself can be like substance abuse too, right?
Hmm.
Many people developed emotional eating patterns in childhood, so where food was used as a reward, comfort, or distraction from distress. So this can be like seriously deeply rooted, right? The vicious cycle of emotional eating. So we start with some negative emotions. We're stressed, we're sad, we're bored, we're anxious, and that's going to trigger that emotional discomfort. And if we don't have those tools to be able to deal with that, then we might lead into that emotional eating. So then we're trying to eat to comfort ourselves and bring up our dopamine levels. And then it leads to some weight gain, of course, if we're eating in a caloric surplus. And then it leads to guilt and shame. And then the cycle continues. Tools that we can use every day to help. So this is just like a quick overview and we're going to get right into it. So tracking our patterns, practicing mindful eating, creating a comfort menu of things that are non-food related to help with those tough emotions and being able to create healthier habits, as well as seeking support. So first we want to bring some awareness, building on awareness and asking ourselves when we're in that emotional feeling, like, what am I actually feeling right now? Am I lonely? Am I bored? Am I anxious? Am I stressed? Am I overwhelmed? And then am I physically hungry? Looking for cues like, is your stomach growling? Do you have low energy, etc. And then there's a quick little hack called the HALT method. So hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Oh,
Two, we got tracking your patterns. So this can be really helpful to bring awareness without judgment, without shaming ourselves. It's just bringing data, right? So noticing like what time of day do we tend to binge? What is a trigger? Is it situational, emotional, thought patterns? What do we tend to eat when we go into a binge? And how did you feel before, during, and after? Building a toolbox of alternatives. So here's some few that I've written out, but again, you can kind of explore what works best for you. So taking a 5 minute pause, like this one can be really helpful with like addiction, with emotional eating, with binge eating. But like when you feel that urge to do it, setting a timer and put 5 minutes and say like, if I'm going to indulge, give myself that 5 minute before I do it. And then if you still want to afterwards, then allowing yourself a little bit more grace there. Journaling about it can be really helpful. Sipping water or tea, having something that you can distract yourself with outside of the food, taking a walk or doing some light movements, breath work or guided meditations, calling a friend, maybe doing some art like drawing, coloring, something creative, or then saying out loud, I'm feeling blank. Like, how are you actually feeling? And that's okay. And just kind of sitting in that emotion, right?
those are some great ideas.
Thank you. Nourishing yourself consistently. Honestly, this is a big one with a lot of my clients that I noticed when they joined the program. A big reason why they were binging at the end of the day was because they weren't fueling themselves adequately throughout the day. So that by the end of the day, they're ravenous, like they're hungry. So they're coming in home and like they're grabbing the chips, they're grabbing the chocolate, they're grabbing like whatever is easily accessible because they're just hungry, right? And then they're over
Mm-hmm.
consuming because they just didn't get enough fuel throughout the day that your body's trying to make up for all those missed calories. So skipping foods, restricting too much, not eating enough
Or
protein.
having too many protein shakes.
Well, again, you want to think about like when we drink our protein, so even the same thing for smoothies too, right? When we're drinking our food, we don't actually trigger that hormone letting us know that we have eaten. And so when we
Okay.
do have something like a protein shake or a smoothie, I typically recommend pairing it with something that's going to really work your jaw. So like beef jerky, steak, like something that you can really like chew on to really trigger your brain like I am eating. Because otherwise,
Okay.
typically within an hour, we're pretty hungry if we're just drinking our calories and protein.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you're also gonna burn calories chewing your food too, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And even like your body itself, like let's say I were to eat a bunch of berries and eat a bunch of spinach, like my body's gonna have to work harder to break that down versus if I put it in a blender and I blend it all up, my body's not gonna have to work as hard. It's gonna be immediately released into my bloodstream. Does that make sense?
Yes. Way more sense. Yeah.
All right, working on emotional regulation. So, working on some different coping strategies, maybe practicing some mindfulness or meditation, doing a regular nervous system work like breath work, cold exposure, grounding. And that's one thing, like with my cold exposure group that I've stayed committed to for like 5+ years now. It's really like bringing that mindfulness and emotional regulation of just like doing something hard and sitting with yourself and like checking in, right? And
You mean
being
your cold
okay.
plunges?
Yeah, like being okay
Okay.
with being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
So like when you're in that situation, when you go into the water initially, like everything in you is just like get out of the water. Like I don't want to be here. But being
Yeah.
able to sit through that discomfort will overlap into other areas in your life. It's going to ripple effect in other areas where you're just like you don't want to, that you feel uncomfortable, but then you can teach yourself like, hey, I can do hard things. I can still show up even if I don't want to. And it's the same thing with the binge eating or the emotional eating, right? If we can work on that habit of sitting in that discomfort of like, what am I actually feeling right now? Like, what am I trying to suppress right now? What am I trying to numb right now? Why am I doing this? And then figuring out the root of that and being able to sit in that discomfort and also work towards building healthier habits in and around that will be greatly beneficial versus the binge, versus the guilt, the shame, and that cycle of just repetitiveness, right?
Yeah.
So really naming and allowing those emotions instead of suppressing them is huge. And then releasing shame and surrounding yourself with a good support system or team, right? And so binging thrives in secrecy and shame with any type of addiction, right? You're going to do it more and feel more shameful about it, and it's just going to have that vicious cycle. And so you're not broken. You're coping in the best way that you know, but there are better tools. So working with a therapist or a coach that specializes in emotional eating or binge recovery, as well as just joining a support group or online community like we have in the Serious About Change program, and being able to like share our experiences with the group and talk about having a rough day, talking about hard experiences, talking about hard emotions, and being able to have that support can be really
Mm-hmm.
helpful to decrease how much we're doing this alone, with that feeling of like needing to just suppress and isolate and then binge or overconsume, right? So
Yeah.
practicing some self-compassion every time you stumble, not beating yourself up. And an emergency strategy. So if you're mid binge or right afterwards, I want you to pause and take in 3 deep breaths. If you can do it through the nose, even better, because that's going to really help trigger your parasympathetic nervous system. So going in, and it might even feel good to sigh out the mouth to really help release. Going in through the nose. It just like it feels so good. Feels so good. And it allows your brain to just like get present and really feel like, okay, what's going on here? Name what just happened without judgment. That's the biggest thing is without judgment. Just being aware of
Hmm.
it. Because the more that we judge ourselves, the more that we feel guilty, the more that we feel shameful, the more that we end up doing it. And so we can just like bring awareness to it without that judgment. We can be that much more proactive in being able to prevent another binge or over consuming in the future. Saying to
Hmm.
yourself, I'm human, I'm learning, I'm okay. Like it's okay, right? Like giving yourself that compassion, getting out of the kitchen and changing your environment. So that could be like leaving the house and going for a little walk around the block, right? And just kind of regrounding yourself in other ways. So hydrating, walking, maybe writing three things that you're grateful for. And then moving forward from judgment to growth. So bringing that self-compassion, emotional awareness, healthier coping skills, and a sustainable lifestyle changes, right? We don't want to be implementing things that we can't sustain. So choosing habits that you can do continuously versus something that feels just like impossible to do for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Recovery from emotional eating isn't just about perfect eating habits. It's about developing healthier relationships with both food and emotions. Research shows that self-compassion is a strong predictor of recovery success rather than willpower or strict dietary control. This journey requires patience, but each step towards understanding your emotional eating patterns bring you closer to freedom from this cycle. And I will stop sharing my screen. There we go. So that concludes our nice little lesson today, our topic about how to decrease or stop emotional eating and binge eating. Do we have any questions, concerns, things that we want to add?
I would say definitely I would be more of like an emotional I grab like, the Mentos and I like the candy. It's my weakness. And sometimes I can be really good for a long time, but other times I may not just may I because I used to be really bad at just not eat all day long. So the program is
Yeah.
really, I'm really learning to fuel my body properly. But
Yes.
again, I will still do that emotional eating once in a while.
Well, again, we're thinking about like childhood patterns, right? Like it takes more than a few months of working on this to really like cut it, right? It's something that's
Hmm.
deeply rooted that might always be present, but we might build tools that are going to help us along the way to decrease that. So, what are some tools that you think would work for you in those moments? Like, what kind of emotions do you feel come up that lead to you emotionally eating?
I don't know, maybe um, PTSD, flashbacks, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
so
becomes really overwhelming. So then just kind of either that or go work in my garden, just kind of get lost in something.
yeah, totally. Have you ever tried like tapping?
Not for that.
Yeah, so I've heard that could be like super beneficial and like everyone to each their own on like what works best for them. But even
Hmm.
like doing a body scan during those moments, like especially with PTSD and like when we're trying to like get out of our body, right? And
Yeah.
being able to bring that presence and just like finding different areas, and just like lightly tapping in and around. There's one that's really nice that you create a heart and you go like
Okay.
create a heart shape on your
Yeah, I
face.
won't forget that.
It's a beautiful one. Like you could tap on
Mhm.
the shoulders. You could give yourself a nice hug, bringing just
Okay.
awareness to the body and bringing some love, compassion, and like just bringing yourself back in when we want to like dissociate.
Okay.
Gardening, a really, really great tool as well. Being in nature, putting our hands in the dirt, like getting
Hmm.
that physical, right?
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
I can't really think of anything else at the second.
Yeah, that's okay. And again, like if anything comes up along the way, like don't hesitate to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for, right? Like that's
I
exactly
appreciate
what I'm
that.
here for. So if there's something coming up that we find is like distressing and we're leading to that emotional eating, like just reach out to me because I'm your support system
Okay.
too, right? And talk to
Thank
me.
you.
Be like, this is what's going on right now. And it's like, okay, let's come up with a strategy right now that we could use instead of going for the candies. And like not to say like I like we all want to enjoy candies, but like I've
Hmm.
definitely been guilty of like emotional eating or binging. And I've had this one bar of chocolate in my van for like a month now. And so like I it has like four pieces in one row.
Yeah.
And then when I'm like wanting something sweet or like feeling like I need like something that's like comforting or distracting, like I'll just like
Hmm.
pop one of them in my mouth and I just suck on it for as long as I can. Just
Just let
like
it melt.
just let it melt. And like I'll allow myself like two pieces and I'm like, okay, I'm good now. Like we're good. Like
Yeah.
moving on. But like so you can use these things and have them in your life, but again, like if we're struggling with binging, then it might not be as helpful to have those things in your home
Hmm.
because then we might just end up overindulging in those items and
I
then
just stopped buying them actually and putting them in the house. So I find that
yeah,
easiest.
that's definitely something that I've had to do in the past. Like I could not have a chocolate bar in my home before without eating the entire thing. Like if I
Hmm.
opened it, it was getting eaten. Like there's just
Yeah.
no way. And
Yeah.
now, like when I work towards like working what's going on, working with the emotions, working with why, and like sitting with like, am I just bored? Am I angry? Am I sad? Am I lonely? Like what is
Hmm.
going on? And then I can address that root. Like if I'm lonely, maybe I'm calling a friend. If I'm angry, maybe I'm venting to a friend. If I'm sad, like maybe I'm journaling about it or maybe talking to a
Hmm.
friend about it, right? Like having community is so huge and so helpful with being able to
It
help.
really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have the best community.
We do. We
You know
do.
why though? Because we have the best couch.
Oh, stop it.
It's true.
I'm so grateful for this community. You guys are so incredible and you just bring me so much joy. Like when I go into the community forum, I'm like, you guys are just so fucking awesome. Like I just so awesome. I love it.
So are you, lady.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been such a pleasure being a part of all your fitness journeys.
Yeah, it's fun. And like I said, the community is amazing. It's nice to have the support of everyone and share all of that stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
awesome.
it's awesome. Yeah. All right, love. Do you have any other questions or concerns? Even if it's like not topic related at all, like feel free if there's anything else.
I can't think of anything. The challenge is going really good though, and it's really fun.
You guys are crushing it. Oh
It's
my
really
goodness.
fun.
You're making me
Everybody is
so
killing
proud.
it.
I
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
love it.
I
I
love it
love it.
too.
So,
And it
so, so
really
much
gives us
fun.
incentive to like keep going. And like I can't remember who it was. Was it Aaron or Naomi? And they're like, let's kick ass or something about I'm competitive. That's what it was.
Yeah, Naomi.
Yeah, it's like bring it, bring it.
Yeah, like the competitiveness is really, really fun. And I find like a lot of these things that I've implemented were already a part of the six pillars to success for the program, but a
Hmm.
lot of people weren't prioritizing them, right? And so adding a little bit of a fun challenge with it really allowed people
Hmm.
to ensure that we are getting those. Because like as much as let's say we're getting all of our workouts in, we're not going to see as much body composition changes if we're not doing all the other things, right? Like getting those
Yeah.
steps in is just so crucial. Getting our protein in is so crucial. Water,
Hmm.
hydration, like so crucial. These things are going to have such a huge impact. And then as well as like that community aspect and keeping people connected and pushing each other to do better and seeing other people thriving helps push you to thrive even more. And like having a
Yeah.
prize at the end really gives some incentive too. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I've been loving it. It makes my heart so happy. So yeah, we're definitely doing monthly challenges, whether that's going to be continued looking the way it is right now. We're adding, I know Dana had added some like really cool ideas too that we could do. So like I'm definitely open to
Nice.
suggestions and
Okay.
making it fun for you guys.
Awesome. Looking
That's what
forward
we're
to
here
it.
for, making fitness fun, right? Like we
Yep.
all know like that we can just like dread doing a workout, that we can dread meal prepping, that it just like
Hmm.
it feels like an extra thing that we have to do. But instead, like switching that mindset and being like, we get to do this. Like how
Yeah,
exciting is it? And like how cool is it that we have like such a beautiful community to experience and push ourselves even further with too at the same time.
exactly.